Hello, and welcome to today's lesson. We're going to talk about one of the most important topics in English grammar, the past, present, and future tenses. Tenses are like your map in a timeline. They help you talk about what's already happened, what's happening now, and what will happen in the future. Whether you're writing a story, having a conversation, or sending a message, using the correct tense will make your English clear and precise. In this lesson, we'll explain how each tense works, highlight when and why to use each tense, and provide some essential tips for mastering them. So let's dive into the first tense, the past tense. What is the past tense? The past tense is used to describe actions or events that happened before now. So, it's your way of talking about things that are already completed. How to form the past tense? There are two main ways to form the past tense: regular verbs or irregular verbs. For most verbs in the regular verbs, forming the past tense is simple. Just add ed to the base verb. For example, work becomes worked. But be careful, this rule doesn't apply to all verbs. For irregular verbs in the past tense, they don't follow the ed rule. Each one has its own unique past form. For instance, go becomes went, eat becomes ate, and see becomes saw. What are the common uses of the past tense? There are three main reasons we use the past tense. The first reason is for completed actions, which are to describe something that's already finished. For example, I finished the book yesterday. The second reason is habitual actions in the past. It's to talk about repeated actions or routines in the past. For example, I used to visit my grandmother every Sunday. In this example, we see that I used to visit my grandmother every Sunday was a habit that I used to do before, however, I do not currently do now. And the third reason is sequence of events, which is to describe multiple actions in order. For example, she woke up, brushed her teeth, and left to work. Time clues to look out for in the past tense. Time words like yesterday, last week, last year, or specific dates often indicate you should use the past tense. So imagine you're telling a story. If the story is about something that happened last weekend, every verb you use will likely be in the past tense. We went to the park, had a picnic, and played games. So by understanding these patterns, you'll know when to use the past tense without overthinking it. Section 2, the present tense. What is the present tense? The present tense is used to talk about what's happening right now, things that are always true, or routines and habits. So how to form the present tense? Here we'll learn how to form the present tense. So for subjects like I, you, we, they, we use the base form of the verb. For example, I live in New York. Live in this example did not change because we used I. However, for he, she, it, which is the third person singular, add s or es to the base verb. For example, he walks to school, or she watches TV every night. Adding the s for third person singular is a key rule that learners often forget. So always double check when you're writing or speaking. What are common uses of the present tense? There are three main ways we use the present tense. The first one is to talk about habits and routines, which are actions that happen regularly. For example, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day. The second way we use present tense is when we're talking about facts or general truths. Use the present tense to state facts or things that are always true. For example, the sun rises in the east. And the third reason we use the present tense is to talk about actions happening now, which in other words, the present continuous. When an action is happening as you speak, you can use the present tense. Time clues for the present tense, which are certain words that help you know when to use the present tense. For example, always, often, usually, sometimes, every day, today, now, at the moment. So if you're describing a routine, look for these time words to guide you. And one more thing, one interesting thing about the present tense is that it's always used for future events and schedules. For example, the train arrives at 5 p.m. tomorrow. This is called the present simple for future events, and it's especially common with timetables or schedules. Section 3, the future tense. So what is the future tense? The future tense is used to describe actions or events that will happen after now. There are two main ways to form the future tense. Using will, which is the most common and straightforward way. So in this case, you will add will before the base verb. For example, I will visit my friend tomorrow. And the second way to form the future tense is by using going to. This is used to describe plans or intentions. Form it with am, is, are, plus adding going to, plus the base verb, and you'll get the sentence. For example, we are going to watch a movie this weekend. Both forms are correct, but they convey slightly different meanings. Will is often used for spontaneous decisions or predictions. Going to suggests that the action is planned. So what are the common uses of the future tense? We use the future tense for predictions, such as when you're guessing what might happen. For example, it will rain tomorrow. Or we can also use it for plans and intentions, which are to describe things you've decided to do, such as I am going to start a new hobby. And lastly, we use it for promises or decisions made now. For example, I will help you with your homework. Time clues for the future tense and what to look out for. Words like tomorrow, next week, next year, in the future, soon, and later indicate that you're talking about future events. So it's important to note that the future tense doesn't just talk about distant plans, it can also describe immediate actions. For example, I'll answer the phone. This is common in conversational English when someone decides to do something at the moment of speaking. So that's it for today's lesson. To wrap things up, let's summarize the main points. The past tense talks about completed actions or events that happened before now. So don't forget to look for time clues like yesterday or last year. The present tense is for what's happening now, habits or general truths. Use time words like today or every day. And lastly, the future tense describes actions that will happen later. And don't forget to look for words like tomorrow or next week, which are key indicators. These three tenses form the foundation of English grammar. So by understanding them, you'll be able to describe your thoughts and experiences more clearly. So I hope you found this lesson helpful and now have a better understanding of the past, present, and future tenses. Let me know in the comments below what topics you'd like to learn about in the upcoming videos. Your feedback helps me create content just for you. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing and stay motivated on your language learning journey. Bye!